All right, can y'all hear me okay? And yay. First question, do you ever find the most perfect place to poop and discover when you go to dig the hole that someone has dug it in the same place? Okay, so Fred, on the AT, yes. If you think about pooping there, somebody else has pooped there. On the PCT, sometimes, but you know, if you get a little more creative, usually you're good. But here, I haven't dug up any buried treasure. And most people are good about leaving some kind of marker, like a stick stabbed into the ground, or, you know, an X with sticks, so it's like, you don't want to dig for this buried treasure. But, so I haven't found a single one of those yet. Now watch me jinx myself and find some buried treasure, but yeah, so I haven't had any of that. That is pretty funny to think about, though. If you could describe each trail in one word, what would they be? Oh, man. Okay. Let's see. I don't know. For the AT, it would either be culture or... no, you know what? It would be probably either community or camaraderie. That would be the AT. And then the PCT would be hell. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, the PCT for me was a rough year. The PCT would probably, in general, be... Golly, that's a really tough one. I don't know. For me, it would probably be something like, you know, challenge or something like that. But something overcoming that. So I might have to think on this and give you a good answer in a post on Patreon later. And then this trail so far, I would say like just wild. And I guess maybe wild should be it for the PCT because of the book, right? But this trail, I've seen more wildlife. It's just been more, I don't even want to say desolate because that kind of gives a negative connotation, but it's just been more, you're in the middle of nowhere, you know, you're left to your own devices. So yeah, let me think on that, and I'll actually write a note right now, and because I don't just want to sit here pondering. But I really do love this trail. I would say right now, if I had to rank the trails of likeliness to hike again in order, would be AT, CDT, PCT. So, did you ever consider the Zpacks Arc Haul-Zip? That's a good question. I liked the idea of it, but I don't like the idea of relying on a zipper. I feel like that's a mechanical thing that can just fail. So, of course, you would figure something out if it failed, right? I mean, you wouldn't just sit there and go, well, I guess my hike's over. You know, you figure something out. But I just thought that wasn't a great idea. Now, I have never heard of anybody who's used one having an issue with their zipper. So, for all I know, it's great, and that's just me being paranoid. But yeah, it does look really cool because you can really, like a suitcase, really pack that stuff in there. So I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying that's why I didn't. What's on your playlist this hike? Oh Lord, I've got so many different things. I try to pick up things along the way too that kind of will remind me of the hike. And I went and saw a play while I was in Creed, and it was kind of set in the 50s, 60s, well, probably the 60s. And it had that song "Be My Baby" in it. Be my baby. And so just all sorts of stuff. I've got some Miranda Lambert because she's crazy. You know, they say Dell will set fire to the rain and Miranda Lambert will set fire to you. So she kind of gets me fired up. Then I mean, I've got stuff like Van Morrison, just all the good Led Zeppelin, you know, but then I've also got some Hank Williams Sr. and I got Christina Aguilera, that song Fighter. You know what I mean? Some of those like cheesy, poppy, I'm a Strong Woman songs get me up to the top of climbs, you know. Also that Nation Army song. If I'm climbing a hill, that one works. But yeah, I have such a huge variety of music, and I've thought about that, like maybe each section I should post what song I listen to most, or which one, you know, inspired me most, or something like that. But how do you like the Zhiyun Smooth 3? I ordered a similar gimbal and can't wait to try it out. So I've used it a little bit, and I like it from what I've used it. Aaron uses it more than I do, and I use the drone more than Aaron does. So it's kind of like we have our thing. But sometimes I'll be like, oh, Aaron, that would be a cool shot with the Zhiyun gimbal. And then sometimes he's like, oh, Dixie, this would be a cool shot with the drone, you know, if we did this. And so I guess we both like implement ideas with these tools, but most of the time he's using the gimbal, and most of the time I'm using the drone. So, you know, I think when I go on like filling in the fire closure holes with my mom next year, next summer, that I will take a gimbal with me, because it's just amazing. You know, I'm pretty steady for freehanding, but that thing just allows for some great shots. So so if y'all aren't familiar with what a gimbal is, it just basically stabilizes. Like, the best way I can describe it, and what I said to Aaron, was you can set it to where you move it and it's kind of like a chicken's head. You know, you can move their body around and their head like stays in the same spot. That's what a gimbal makes me think of. But which brand of freeze-dried food do you like best? I really like those paleo meals to go. Those are really good. But you know, there are a lot of good options out there. But I mean, most of the time I'm just getting Backpacker's Pantry, or but oh, Mary Jane's Farm has some good stuff too. Most of it is vegan and vegetarian, but sometimes I'll have like freeze-dried ground beef that I could throw in there. But you know, for the folks who are vegan or vegetarian, then that's a great option. So I just like food. But a lot of times I'm getting Mountain House or Backpacker's Pantry, because that's what places have. So what would you think about someone hiking the CDT before the PCT? Is that advisable or a bad idea? Based on all you know from the trails and also Aaron's experience. So I've met several people out here that the CDT is their first thru hike, and they're fine. I think Aaron, he just has a run of bad luck, I think. But yeah, I certainly, you know, you'll read, and I was talking to a girl named Casper that I ran into in this last stretch, and she was like, you know, everything I read was horror stories about, you know, don't do the CDT as your first hike, you'll die. And I mean, I can't deny that the AT is certainly more forgiving of a trail. I mean, people just do the silliest stuff, you know, hike all the way in Crocs, or, you know, you just see people packing out a case of beer, or, you know, some ridiculous things that nobody would do when they're as exposed to the sun and the elements and the wind and not as much water. And, you know, so, but if it's the trail that you want to do first, there are people out here who are in that boat and this is their first trail. So don't let anybody scare you and let you, you know, and say like, oh, you can't do it. Because you know what? What would you do if you were going to prepare for a thru hike of the CDT? You might come out and do a section hike of the CDT, right? I mean, that makes sense. Well, a thru hike is just a bunch of section hikes woven together. That's all it is. I just did a section hike this past 4 days, right? And then I got to town, and now if I had any injuries, if I had any, you know, thing that I absolutely needed, I'm in town and I can figure out a way to get it. So that's all it is. So if you're gonna go out and do a section hike, you'll be all right. Let's see. Hi from Pittsburgh. Would you recommend the lace locks? Yes. Yes, I would. And since I've had those, I realize how much I tell other people, and there aren't even that many other people out here, but, oh, your shoes are untied, because, you know, it is really bad to trip on your own shoelaces and fall. And so just not having to fool with tying shoes. I never adjust the tightness of it, literally where they're at. I just leave them, and I can slide them on and slide them off. I love those things, and they're only like, I don't even think they're $10. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, I really do like them a lot. Does the cold, and the lock laces, in case y'all don't know, they're just these laces that you relace. It's like elastic cording really that's got like a little slide deal. So I'm probably not explaining well, but if you Google lock laces, you'll see what I'm talking about. How many days does your fuel canister typically last you on the AT, and then there at elevation? Do you carry the smaller ones? So I do prefer the smaller ones, and they last, you know, I know that a small one will last me 5 days here. Maybe if I do 3 meals a day, but it's gonna be close to running out. So, but on the AT, it definitely lasts me 5. So it's not like a huge difference, but I would say maybe I notice like a day less of fuel. But the thing is, it depends on how often you're cooking, you know, how many meals a day. So it's hard to say because I've never like marked on the can meals and how many meals I'm using, and I didn't do that on the AT. Really, that's something I probably should have done. So, but if I'm in a 5-day stretch and I know I'm only cooking 2 meals a day, then I know that that small fuel can is gonna last me. And I prefer the small ones because they weigh less. So it's probably not the most cost-effective way. But do you have any gear that will complete the Triple Crown with you? Yes, my food pot and let's see. Yeah, that might be it. Like as far as Lloyd mentioned something about my puffy, but that was only the PCT and the CDT, so it may just be my food pot. Wow, that thing's ragged too. It's like the grease pot. I use aluminum grease pot, which I know you're not supposed to use aluminum, but I think that might be it. I'll have to think on that. I'm like looking around at stuff on me. Earrings. I guess that's not really gear though. So yeah, I think that's the only thing. That's kind of sad, but we've been together a long time. Wow, I look like a ghost with all this light. It's kind of crazy looking. Okay, let's see. All right, Fred says, I know you're wearing the Ultra shoes. What about socks? So I have Darn Toughs and I have Injinjis. Now the Darn Toughs are darn tough. Like that's why they're named that, right? So they last a long time, and I will get holes in them. I have before, but they have a lifetime warranty. They will replace them for you. Like they will do that. It's not that they don't, you know, oh well, they give you trouble about it or whatever. They're like, no, we want you to send us your socks if they get holes in them, and they almost like dare you to put holes in them, kind of thing. I've had 1 pair of Darn Toughs for this whole trail so far, and I'm at mile almost 1300, and now, you know, we've hiked a little bit less than that with the alternates. But the Injinjis, this is my 2nd pair of Injinjis. So I like the Injinjis, say, especially for a day where I'm going to be in wetter terrain, and I don't necessarily think about this. Honestly, I just rotate them, so I wear the Darn Toughs for, if I'm out in a 4-day stretch, I'll wear the Darn Toughs for 2 days. If I'm out in a 5-day stretch, you know, then I wear them for 2, and if they're particularly dirty, then I swap, and if not, then 3, you know. So anyway, I just kind of mix it up. And you can, you know, have 2 pair and rotate and like wash them out in a creek or something like that. But so the Injinjis don't last as long, but they do protect if you're going through wetter terrain. Your wet skin rubbing together can create blisters, and, you know, or if your feet are sweating more or whatever. So, but those are the 2 things I use, and I just rotate them out. I don't necessarily have issues with blisters, but, you know, I don't know. I like something different. So sometimes I have the little toe sock thing, and sometimes I don't. I was wondering if you have always been so comfortable with cowboy camping, or if there was a turning point for you that made you okay with sleeping out in the open. It sounds scary with bugs/animals around. Okay, so first of all, bugs. If it's like a crazy puff of mosquitoes all around, like if I set down my pack and I already have mosquitoes biting me, I'm not cowboy camping, because I'm just not dealing with that. I'm not, because while I'm cooking, they're gonna be biting me and stuff. Just not doing that. Now, as far as like roaches and beetles and moths and things like that, I mean, they're around anyway. I won't say be terrified of roaches, but I really did not like I hated them, you know, and I just didn't want them on me, and like the thought of it just, ugh. But now I can like grab one with my hand and throw it, you know. And that happened on the 18th. And I was laying in my tent cooking one night, and I have my vestibule open. You know, I'm like cooking. Well, I was cooking in the vestibule, but the netting was open. And I was stirring my food, and a roach flew in my tent, and I had just had a really bad day, and I reached over and grabbed that roach and threw it out of my tent. And I was like, did I just do that? Did I just touch a roach with my hand? Like, did I just grab it and throw it? And I was like getting so proud of myself. I was just feeling so like, go me, you know. And like 2 seconds later, the roach flew back in on my face. And so then I was just like, forget it. And I just, you know, didn't even cook. I just said, forget it. And I didn't even care about it. I think I maybe even went and just dumped my food. I was so upset. But it's done with the day. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like you slowly start getting over that when something crawls across your leg. You know, each time something like that happens, you just kind of start getting over it. Now, the first time I cowboy camped, I didn't do it alone. Like, I didn't cowboy camp alone. So there were probably like 5 other people, and then another guy was in a hammock, you know, and so it was kind of fun, you know, it was an adventure. And some of us had cowboy camp before, or some of them had, and some of us hadn't, like myself. And so it was with a group, and I you know, I have probably cowboy camped alone, or if I haven't, it's been at least like taking a nap on the trail at night when I'm like doing an all-night hike trying to get somewhere or something, and I'll just like lay on my pack, you know, on the side of the trail. But no, you just kind of get over it as time goes by. But you know, if you don't feel comfortable with it, then don't do it yet. But normally it's been when I need to get up and get going early, so or I need to just take a nap and not sleep that long, because it's easier. I'm already out of my tent when I wake up. So it's just been so cold on this trail that I just haven't wanted to. Are you going to video next summer on Homemade Wanderlust? Yes. So I will definitely have a video coming out, you know, same thing. Well, I don't know. I guess, is it going to be, it may not be, there will be videos coming out. I don't know if it will be as like real time or not. And these are a little bit delayed, but I'll still be doing the live Q&As with y'all. You know, y'all will still know what's going on, and while I'm out there, you know, be posting some pictures and stuff like that. And so my mom will probably, you know, be there. So you know, for some of y'all who, because she'll be 60 next summer, so for some of y'all who are closer to that age range or whatever, you know, it might be interesting to talk to her and see her perspective. Not that, honestly, I feel like, let's put it this way, I don't think that just because somebody is older that they can't do a through hike, but I think that maybe you consider other things, or you know what I'm saying, like it's a different perspective anyway. So because there are certainly people in their 60s, 70s, and you know, whatever, through hiking. So and even 80s. What would you suggest for a temperature rating for a quilt or sleeping bag for the 18 now that you've had more hiking experience? So I had a 23-degree bag, and I freeze. So when I was in the Smokies, I was cold some nights. Now, I don't know that the degree rating on that was quite accurate, but I don't know. I've got a 10-degree bag now, but I freeze at night. So I think a lot of people on the AT probably had like 30-degree bags. I don't know that I would suggest for anyone, a guy or a girl, in the colder months being in anything, you know, that's not rated at or below like 30 degrees. But that's me. You know, some guys sleep really warm. I think Perk on the PCT, where it certainly got pretty cold a lot of nights, I think he was in like a 40-degree quilt. So it just really depends on the person. He sleeps very warm though. Aaron, what's your bag now? Sorry to keep interrupting you. 10-degree. Okay, so Aaron has a 10-degree bag now for this, but again, for the AT now in the summertime, and this is the thing about the AT, they recommend that you have 2 different bags, but that gets expensive, right? So people try to like find something that they won't freeze to death in, but then they won't burn up in the summertime. But what I recommend doing, what I did, is I would go a little bit cooler on your rating for the colder times, and then the warmer months, I literally slept with a fleece sleeping bag liner. that I got at an outfitter in Virginia when I was like sweating at night, and I was like, okay, this is safe to do now. And I kept my puffy in case, you know, just to use as a pillow, or in case it did get pretty chilly one night, you know, just as a backup. But literally a fleece, and Perk used like a fleece throw blanket to sleep with, you know, just so you have something kind of light to cover yourself up, or if it is a little bit chilly. So that's what I would recommend. I wouldn't say get 2 legit sleeping bags. I would say get one that's like a good sleeping bag that's going to keep you warm at night. So like I said, I wouldn't say anything that's not going to be warmer than 30 degrees or below. But, you know, again, Perk would be like, well, I'm not, you know, he would be fine with something warmer, or warmer rated. But anyway, so, but yeah, and then in the summer, you can get away with like literally a blanket. So, and then save yourself, I think I saved myself a pound in the summertime by just carrying that fleece liner to sleep with. What video editing software would Aaron recommend for a beginner? Well, he's actually asleep right now. Or else I'd ask him, but I know he uses Final Cut Pro. If you are wanting to edit stuff on your phone, I know a lot of people use the iMovie app, and it seems like it's pretty, I think it's called iMovie. Yeah, it seems like it's pretty user-friendly, but he might know. Or something that he used like when he was first in school, because he went to school for radio, television, and film. So, you woke up. A couple people were asking questions, but
like what?
What's a beginner? Let's see. What was the question? What is a good beginning video editing software for beginners?
If you have a Mac, then iMovie is good.
That's what I said. iMovie. See, hey, but I said with a phone, or with a phone.
With a phone.
Yeah. Okay. So iMovie.
If you don't have a Mac, there are a lot of free ones. I've heard of HitFilm Express. That's supposed to be decent.
HitFilm Express. Okay.
It's free.
It's free.
All I've ever used is Final Cut and Adobe Premiere. So
all he's ever used is Final Cut and Adobe Premiere. So, and then somebody else asked, oh darn, what was the other question?
Gear?
Oh yeah, about your tent.
A tent.
Yeah, he's 6'4", and he's just curious. Like he was thinking about the Solplex or the duplex or no.
If I was 6'4", I'm 6'1".
He's 6'1".
Probably a little too short, really.
Oh, is it? Okay, he said no. If you're 6'4", don't go with the Solplex. I said the duplex. If you slept diagonally, you'd be good. Yeah.
Even I think you could sleep
normal. Yeah. Okay. So he said he'd go with the duplex if you're 6'4", and they came out with a new one, Zpacks, but yeah, something new. Not the duplex, but just something. I'm about halfway through watching your PCT hike, and I am enjoying it thoroughly. Do you have a breakdown of what you use as far as recording gear? Maybe a list or a video about it. Jeremy, on the PCT, I don't know that I have a specific list, but on the CDT, all the stuff, the recording gear, actually if you look in the videos and you do video description, you know, you click that show more below the video, it has links there, like gear list links. Or if you go to homemadewanderlust.com and go to the gear tab and go to CDT, it's got everything that we're using. So can you give an example or two of strategies used to traverse hilly or broken topography that was not well marked for the trail? So sometimes, you know, you're on a hill, one of the common things here, and there are cairns or there are fence posts, that you're kind of looking for. And so, I mean, the best thing is to just stand in one spot and look like for the next one. But also gut hooks, the GPS on the phone, and then the inReach also has, the CDT, you know, line with the topo. So, you know, looking at, I think the important thing is if you have gut hooks, because I used to just have this line that was like, you know, in a blank existence. I think it's important to have the topo. That way you can look at the mountains around you and go, okay, I can't tell exactly where the trail goes, but I know I'm supposed to be going down into this draw, or I'm supposed to be going up the hill, or, you know, so it's important to have some kind of idea of the terrain around you. But yeah, then just looking for the markings, which don't always exist. So I noticed you have a new ring on your finger. Is it new? If that represents a recent life moment, then I wish you and your significant other the very best. No, so this is in selfie mode, so that's actually not the wedding finger. But no, I would let y'all know if something like that happened. Yeah, no, still not engaged. But yeah, this is just, it is a new ring, so thank you for noticing. I actually got this in Silver City in New Mexico. It's just like a onyx, you know, just silver ring, and it matches my little black earring stud, so just a little keepsake. I like stuff like that, you know, rather than getting something that's going to sit around and not be used. I like getting little stuff, little trinkets that I can actually put to use, or stickers to put on my journal or something like that as keepsakes. So, and no, that's not too personal, but yeah, no, not engaged. So what was it like moving from your Osprey pack to a frameless pack? Sweaty back, sore shoulders, would you go back? Good question, Graham. I went originally to the HMG Hyperlight Mountain Gear Southwest, that I think it's 4300 is what it is. Aaron's using that pack now. It does not have load lifters. It did not have like an arc thing for the back or anything. There are like metal stays in it that are more or less a frame, but it's nothing like the comfort of an Osprey. Like, Osprey is going to carry more comfortable. It's just the way it is. It's going to carry more weight more comfortably, but it is heavier. So, but I do love my Zpacks pack. The hip belt to me is a lot more comfortable. It doesn't grab like my Osprey or a AG did. But I don't think I'll go back to an Osprey. You know, I like how the Zpacks and the HMG packs are made out of Cuban fiber, so basically waterproof. I don't have to fool with like a cover. I still do extra waterproof everything on the inside, but I just like those lightweight packs. I like that they're saving me weight. They're like, I can pack them better. I feel like more room to like actually pack stuff in. But if I was gonna carry over 45 pounds, then I would definitely go with something that carries better, because that's what they're made. The capacity is up to like 45 pounds. So let's see. How do you like your new Sony RX100 V? I like it. And honestly, I'm learning a lot. To, you know, I don't really know what I'm doing, but the main thing that I like it for so far is slow motion. The slow motion is incredible on it, and so I've been playing around with like bees flying off of flowers and butterflies and flies and stuff like that, and you can like see their wings moving. But for me, it's mainly about the slow motion, and I really like it for that. But there's so much more that it's capable of, but that's just been the thing that I've fixated on for now. Let's see. I bet you'd enjoy a motorcycle / camping trip one day. Maybe. I think you might have found the one thing that I'm actually afraid of the whole time that I'm doing it, and that is being on a motorcycle. Like, I would rather ride a bull again, I think, than ride a motorcycle for a long stretch. I rode a bull when I was 21 for my 21st birthday. No, I was not drunk. It was a very sober decision, one that I signed up for like 2 weeks in advance. And I remember like the day after I signed up, my mom was like, "What if you break your neck?" And I was like, "Mom, I didn't think about that." And then like for 2 weeks I had to stress over, you know, what if I break my neck? And she told me she wouldn't come watch me ride. But then she was like, she called me like not long before I was supposed to get on. Because she told me I just can't watch. And then she's like, "Baby, I'm on my way." But she didn't make it in time, which I'm glad, because I got flung off. But anyhow, so yeah, I'd rather ride a bull again than a motorcycle, probably, because I freak out. But anyway, but maybe someday I can get over it, you know. And do it. Some of your Patreon posts come through really late. Just curious if you were up that late on the trail, or if you create them sometime earlier in the day. I'm up that late. And then sometimes, yeah, I'll get in my tent at night and I cook dinner and I write in my journal, and if I have signal, then, you know, I post an update. So that's, yeah, it's just that time. Are you happy that you ditched your camp shoes? And I would say yes and no. I miss my camp shoes when I am in town. I don't really miss them at camp. I miss the camp shoes in town. But I do a really good job of making my own camp shoes. I just don't wear socks, and I step on the back of it, like where it would be up against your heel, which is probably not good for the shoes, but I only wear them up to 500 miles anyway. So, and then I just kind of walk around on them like they're Crocs. But I do miss them, but I haven't gotten them back yet. So I don't miss them enough to carry the extra 6 ounces, you know, around. So, it could be something that I like had in a bounce box, but that's kind of a pain too. So Jim says, thanks Dixie for your time spent with us. Oh, well thank you. Cause I mean, like I said before, you know, I couldn't be doing any of this without y'all. I mean, I couldn't be here. So, so thank you for, you know, making it possible for me to be out here, and thank y'all for, I mean, like, not only like, are you supporting what I do, but you actually are here, participating in the Q&A and stuff. So giving your time too. And I really appreciate that. And I actually, you know, really enjoy doing these Q&As and chatting with y'all and answering your questions. So, okay. All right. Bye y'all.